have to make in that thing, and you're trying to decide what you.
Ready to go, Clay? Good morning, everyone. It is May 17th, 2022. We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Welcome, everyone. It's great to see a lot of people in house and someone special we're going to recognize also. So we will go ahead with our first order of business, the minutes. Anyone have any corrections, changes? Otherwise, I would look for a motion to approve.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes from May 3rd.
All right.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Delyden. Discussion, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? Motion carries. Review and approval of the agenda. And Clay, I understand that we might have a couple of,
Yes, Madam Chair, we just have a
Agenda?
couple of items to add under the administration portion. One is a leadership retreat update, and then also a discussion of the Government Center open house.
all right.
Madam
So-
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the agenda with items 5 and 6 under the items for consideration under Administration B.
All right,
Second.
thank you. Motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Delyden. Any discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. The agenda is approved. The consent agenda. Would anyone like anything removed for further discussion?
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Ketchmark?
thank you. Under Information Technology, letter E, number 1, for a brief discussion,
All right,
and I'd make a motion then to approve the consent agenda with that item pulled for discussion, E1.
all right. Motion made by Commissioner Ketchmark. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Delyden. All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. And Commissioner Ketchmark?
Oh, thank you. So I was just reading the request for board action for the trip to Las Vegas. Is someone here to reference that from IT? A couple questions. Morning, Mark.
Good morning.
Morning, thanks for coming in.
Sure.
So I read, you must have filled this form out, it doesn't say at the top, but from reading the narrative, I just had a question on when it was and how long.
Sure. It is June, the week of June 12th. I think that starts on a Sunday, so it could be the 13th, I think it's when it starts. And it goes till Friday, so it's a week long.
Okay, and you're looking for the airfare and lodging for the trip and the stay out there for that?
Yep, for 2 of us, yep.
Okay. And we had talked about this a little bit at leadership, but I don't have a problem. I guess the one thing I would like is, because this is above and beyond your regular training at work, but online, sitting at your desk, there's airline, airfare and travel and lodging and all that. But I would like for you, when you come back, to just tell us what you learned and how you could implement it to better the
Sure.
system here at Wright County. How's that sound?
How would you like that to be presented to you? Email, a presentation, or
Well,
what?
just a short update for a board at the next available meeting when you get back.
We could do that, sure.
And then, because this is, again, the public agenda, and if people ask, hey, what did the 2 guys go to Las Vegas for, and what did they bring us, then we got something.
Sure, no problem. This is a Cisco conference. We just invested a lot of money with and renewal of a lot of our networking gear here, and this is just a session for everybody to get to know more about what the technology is, what we can do with the cool new technologies that we have. So yeah, it would be a pleasure to come up and talk to you guys.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
And I'll make a motion to approve the request for the airfare and hotel and lodging for the trip for the 2 IT members.
Motion made by Commissioner Ketchmark.
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Delyden. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. All right, moving on to our timed agendas. Sheriff Derringer.
You can't just stay in back. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. Actually, as Mitch stands next to me, there are so many different directions this conversation could go.
I can believe that.
What I will tell you, without getting emotional, early on in my career, what I can say about Deputy Fleming, Mitch, most of us refer to him as Dude. He was one of the most welcoming members of the sheriff's office. I remember actually some early nights in my career sitting squad to squad with him, and at the time he had a wealth of knowledge to my inexperience. And so he was always very welcoming and has always truly been one of the best people in the sheriff's office, attitude and otherwise. Over the course of his career, he's really been a utility player for us. I know that he did the front counter for quite a while, so a lot of people coming in and out of our office know Mitch. He was probably our first gun permit expert, and even years after he did not hold that seat any longer, he was still asked those questions and it was asked to weigh in. The other thing that I will say is I don't know who's going to carry the torch for him, but before memes were actually a thing, Mitch has got dirt on everybody in the office. And you never knew when something was going to pop up on an indiscriminate or actually very public wall that has your face attached to something that you didn't want your face attached to. But he has always been a source of inspiration for me, certainly friendship for me. And this is going to be one of those spots that it's hard to replace. As you can see by the number of people that have joined us today, he's left a lasting impact on our office. I'm certainly going to miss the camaraderie and the thumbs up when I pass you on the road. So I don't know if I'm going to get to Clear Lake very often to get the thumbs up, but I'll probably come and buy some of your stuff. Just look for the red truck. So with that, I would like to present Mitch Fleming his retirement plaque. He actually retires next week, but I wanted to come and present him this plaque at a board meeting. He's been with the Wright County Sheriff's Office for over 31 years, and he's truly been a fixture, a friend, and a mentor to many. So with that, sir, I wish you nothing but the best. Thank you.
I just want to thank you guys. Chrissy, we started the jail together.
Yeah, we were in the jail.
Mike, we started the road together. Derek, I mean, I remember the day you were born, believe it or not. I can't tell how many weddings we worked together. I mean, it's been a good run. I'm proud to have served this county and this community, and we're in good hands, and I thank you for everything. It's been awesome.
Yeah, you were a fun guy to work with.
I appreciate it. And speak the right-hand man on the gun permits right there. I thank you for your help too.
Madam Chair,
Yeah.
congratulations. Mitch, I wish you the best. I remember when we started I came on in 93 and you got assigned to the Northeast, and it was when Otsego first became a city. Double-digit calls every day that you had up there. It was the busiest shift by far around the county, and you took it in stride and didn't complain publicly anyway, as we say. And so you paid your dues and you earned it, and you got a good contingent here today showing support. That one on the far back there, I don't know if he's on overtime or not, otherwise we wouldn't see him here probably. But congratulations, thanks.
Thank you.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
I want to hear this dirt that Sean says you have on everybody, especially about the sheriff.
Not in a public meeting, Commissioner.
I have a lot of history, let's put it that way.
Workshop.
We'll talk afterwards.
Fair enough.
Well, Mitch, you've been a blessing for Wright County, well-deserved career, and I hope the next page is even more as awesome as the last 30 years have been. So,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Really appreciate your dedication all these years.
Thank you.
Yes, thanks for your service.
Thank you.
So what are you going to do in retirement now?
believe it or not, I'm gonna go sell beer at the liquor store again. It was a third job for me about 10 years ago, and I'm gonna go back and do that because I can't sit around and do nothing.
Right. Good. Good.
Good. Well,
He
have
could
fun.
he could have had another career, a pseudo career as a salesman, obviously with the personality. One more thing that I will share with you all is after I was elected, Mitch gave me an envelope. The contents of said envelope will remain. I won't speak what it was, but it'll end up in a shadow box someday. But you have no idea what that thing meant to me, and more importantly, the note that accompanied it. So you've always been a great team player, and I thank you very much for your support and what you've done for our office.
Thank you.
So awesome. Thank you, everyone.
All right. Good to see all the support team too. Okay. Welcome, Chief Deputy
Yeah,
Director.
good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. This is a lot less exciting now, so sorry. Two items on the agenda for the Sheriff's Office. First is a resolution to approve a grant. This is a grant above and beyond what we've already received for the federal boating safety. $8,500 to be used for additional patrols during high water usage areas, Sylvia, during 4th of July, those types of things where it's just getting a lot of public use and to add extra patrol.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution for the Federal Boating Safety Patrol Grant.
All
I'll
right.
second.
Motion made by Commissioner Delight and seconded by Commissioner Ketchmark. Any discussion?
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Ketchmark.
Morning, Chief. Just a
Morning.
question. Is there anything that differs with this one as far as compared to the other one that I think you got? Is there a certain lake or area that has to be dedicated or?
No, the other one was a little more broad, could be used for training and other purposes. This one's strictly on patrol, paying wages for shifts.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Any other questions? Otherwise, roll call vote. Commissioner Ketchmark.
Aye.
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 Resolution passes. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, second item is to schedule a committee of the whole meeting to discuss a request for an additional SRO to the Masico Special Education Co-op. And then also part of that discussion is kind of supervisory span of control. I know it could go to the personnel committee, but I'm sure all the commissioners might want to be in on the discussion, so.
All right.
Did you have some dates
Board,
recommended?
yeah, do you have,
Pretty open next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or the following week. I know it's Memorial Week. Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, which would be July 1st and July 2nd, or June 1st, June 2nd, excuse me.
Commissioner Ketchmark, or we're off. Commissioner Ketchmark, you'll.
Right, I won't be available next week, but the week of Memorial Day, I would be.
Well, Thursday, Commissioner Vetch and I have Trailblazers in the morning, along with Bertram's in the morning. So Thursday, we wouldn't be available till after,
June 2nd.
yeah.
Is
What,
Friday morning available? Is there any urgency or is this due to start maybe next school year?
Yeah, looking to start next school year. So, immediacy, no, but if there's going to be, depending which direction it goes, planning and hiring and training and.
Okay,
so you do want to, no, fairly soon, no?
Yeah, correct.
Well, how about after the board meeting on Tuesday? I don't have anything listed.
You mean the 24th? We don't have a board meeting.
No, I'm talking about the
The
31st.
31st?
You can. I've got my energy transition meeting, but if you guys
Oh,
want to
okay.
meet without me, I can get looped in after the fact. But because those are 3 to 4 times a month, so
Yep.
so I'm trying to find one that fits in my schedule might be really complicated.
how about Monday, June 6th?
I got a site visit in the morning.
Well, June 7th, we don't have anything right after the board meeting. We have a ditch meeting at 1.
Okay, how about right after the board meeting on the 7th?
That work for you, chief?
I'm actually gone that entire week.
Okay,
Well, how about June 1st?
Yeah, it's Wednesday, June
June
1st.
1st won't work for me. I'll be in
So-
Litchfield.
Thursday doesn't work like at 10, what time is your Trailblazer?
It's at 9:30 in Glencoe.
I
So
could
we
do
won't
1
be
o'clock
back
on that
till,
day.
we won't be back till 1:30.
Yeah, I would say we could do 1 or 1:30, but anything before that,
No.
Yeah, and even, yeah, maybe
Yeah, on
1:30
June
because,
1st in the afternoon, I'd be available.
1:30?
it's June 1st, Wednesday, June 1st afternoon. She said
Oh.
she's available. I'm open June 1st in the afternoon.
Yeah, me too.
Madam Chair, Matt, what do we got for ditch so far on June 1st, that info meeting? Do you got anything booked for afternoon?
Yeah, the info meeting starts at 3:30.
Oh,
Do 1
okay,
o'clock Then,
all right. 1 or 1:30? What was it?
1:30 might be better.
Okay,
Okay,
That's on June 1st?
yep.
Yep.
Does that work for you?
Yep. Hardest part of the whole meeting is right here.
Yes. Yeah, my next guess would have been 30th of May would be an option.
On Memorial Day, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, we'll come to your lake home
Okay.
chair and, you know, you can feed us all and we have our
Yes,
meeting and.
That would be fun.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to set a committee of the whole on June 1st at 1:30 to discuss the SROs.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Vetch. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Glyden. Any more discussion?
Madam Chair, just one question, Chief. I didn't see any figures mentioned in here. Are I'm expecting that they're offering like a similar rate of,
It'd be the standard rate of all
Okay.
the districts, yep.
all right, thought if there was something for us to ponder in the meantime, but thank you.
If you need those numbers ahead of time, just a refresher of what that costs, we'll get that to you.
Okay, sure, thank you.
All right. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, none opposed, so passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Virgil Hawkins.
Morning, Madam Chair and Board of Commissioners. Today, there's 2 highway items for your consideration. The first one is more of a housekeeping item. It's approving a resolution and master partnership agreement with MnDOT, and these come up for renewal every 5 years. They're basically allows us to have mutual aid with MnDOT and they with us. We've used these over the years to have MnDOT help us with different things, bitumen plant inspection, material testing, things like that. So this one would go through 2022 to 2027.
All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution with MnDOT Master Partnership Contract Number 1050340.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Glyden, seconded by Commissioner Vetch. Any discussion? Hearing none, it's a resolution. Roll call vote. Commissioner Glyden?
Aye.
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 All right,
All right, resolution passes.
Thank you. The second item is a recommendation to award contract 2207 for the CASA 35 Daig Avenue Roundabout Project, subject to authorization by MnDOT Civil Rights Office. We received bids on May 10th, and New Look Contracting was the low bidder in the amount of $2,102,945.50.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Glyden?
you only had 2 bidders on the project, huh?
Yes.
Is, everybody booked for the summer already?
A lot of people's schedules are getting filled up, yes.
I wonder what that's going to look like for the one-way pair in St. Michael.
Yeah, we're a little nervous about that one coming up.
I think this is a lot of it has to do with the labor market, and a lot of them just don't have enough to run as many jobs as they historically used to be able to do.
Correct.
I'm wondering too, I guess we'll have to see how those bids come in there. Maybe we'll end up having to postpone that one or something too.
We'll have to see, yeah.
All right.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to award contract number 2207 for CASA 35 Dog Avenue.
Second.
Second it.
All right. Motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Wetter. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion
Okay.
passes.
Thank you.
All right,
Is it dog or dag?
Dag, they
Dag,
say.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think at one time they were saying dog and then it kind of changed to dag.
That's what I think. Yeah, that's probably where I got the bad
Yeah.
habit from.
I've
All
heard
right.
both.
Mr. Edward Pettit, welcome.
Good morning, Madam Chair, Commissioners. One item from Planning and Zoning this morning for your consideration. It's an approval for an updated cooperative agreement with Minnesota Department of Agriculture. I apologize. And it's for continued agricultural hazardous waste pesticide collection and payment for that.
All right, and we have
I'll make a
background
motion.
here, and so,
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve the signature for the cooperative agreement between Wright County, Minnesota Department of Ag.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Delight, seconded by Commissioner Wetter. Is there any discussion?
Madam Chair, out of curiosity, how much did, and I know you weren't here last year, but do you have those numbers on how much was collected over the years?
Yes, Commissioner. So in 2019, total pounds collected of pesticides was 6,558 pounds, and we received reimbursement of $1,639.50. That increased in, actually, the total poundage decreased in 2020 to 6,277 pounds, and we received just about $1,600 in reimbursement. In 2021, we jumped to 8,293 pounds collected. We received reimbursement for $2,073.25. And this cooperative agreement increases our reimbursement rate to twice what it was previously. So we look to make double the amount of money per pound going forward.
No, it costs us money to get rid of these, I'm assuming.
Yeah, well, this gets shipped out of state for incineration, yes, sir.
And so the money we receive from them kind of covers that cost?
Covers that cost, correct.
Is it 100%, Madam Chair? Is it 100% cost? Is it a 70-30 split? Like,
You know,
what's-
I don't know that. I can get that number for you.
That's a lot of pounds that would end up
Yes.
not in a good place.
Right, yeah.
So-
Over 8,000 pounds, wow. In the last
Absolutely.
year?
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
Madam Chair.
Commissioner Wetter?
Where does it go?
It goes out of state to an incinerator. I don't know which
Where?
state. We have cement kilns that are, it depends on who's available to receive
Oh,
the
okay.
material.
I
So,
get it. I get
yeah.
it.
There's a variety of regulated industrial facilities that will actually use these materials as alternative fuels. They'll combust the material and destroy it, in essence.
Thank you.
Yeah, very responsible way to manage it.
Right, yeah. I appreciate the incineration efforts because it takes care of a lot.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, any more questions?
Very good, thank you.
We haven't voted?
No, we haven't voted. So the motion made by Commissioner
Yep.
Delight, seconded by Commissioner Wetter. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Thank you, motion passes. Mr. Matt Detchen.
Do we really have to talk about ditches?
You can't get rid of me that easy. Good morning, Madam Chair, members of the board. I have two items for you today. The first item is to approve and sign the joint ditch drainage policy. That's between Meeker, McLeod, Renville, Sibley, and Wright County. If you remember at our March 25th meeting, we went through the final policy, Mike and Mark did. We've been working on it for about 4 years now, and got it to a stage where we're ready to adopt it.
These things don't move very quickly.
No, they do not.
Not when you're dealing with that many counties.
That's, yeah.
I'll make a motion to approve the joint ditch drainage policy between Meeker, McLeod, Renville, Sibley, and Wright County.
I'll second.
That way, we're all going to be on the same page.
Yes. Motion made by Commissioner Delight, seconded by Commissioner Ketchmark. Any questions or discussion?
So, Madam Chair, Commissioner Ketchmark, I think you were part of that in as well as with Matt. How was it pretty smooth? Because usually a lot of them, when you get that many involved, it can sometimes get really dogged out. Just curious how it went.
Madam Chair. And Matt's got way more experience than I, so I was there for the first time, but I was surprised, I guess. There's a lot of expertise around these other counties, and Matt keeps right up with them, but some very passionate and knowledgeable about the whole ditch process. But we're fortunate to have Matt that's paying attention and keeping up with it. But I thought it went pretty smooth, and maybe the others that have been to other ones would have a different opinion, but there was a lot of people though, probably 20 people from all these counties and different agencies there.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it getting done. I know I've been at several joint ditch meetings in the past, and not everyone has, like Commissioner Clyde said, on the same page, so it's good to get everybody on board. All right, no other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
No opposed? All right, that passes. And you have another item.
Yeah. So the second item is to approve resolutions of findings and facts in order regarding the redetermination of benefits for County Ditch number 35 and County Ditch number 17 pursuant to Minnesota Statute 103E.351. So this would be appointing the viewers. It would be, we got, about a month ago, I brought this to the board to appoint viewers for this project. I did get the additional quotes for the work, so you can see that the H2O Reviewers viewing team came in at $7.98 an acre, and Joe Jacobs, a member of the Minnesota Viewers Association, came in at $4 an acre. So I would recommend, and the resolutions are drafted showing appointment for Joe Jacobs and his viewing team.
Madam Chair.
Yeah, Commissioner Wetter.
Matt, for the audience and that, could you tell them where these ditches are approximately?
Yeah, so County District 17 is in Buffalo Township, and County District 35 is in Maple Lake Township.
Thank you.
And they're both ditches that have outstanding, requests or motivation to get work completed on.
Madam Chair?
Thank you.
Commissioner Ketchmark.
And for the board's information, I had called a timeout on this one because it was a little different as it was presented with the one viewer coming in. And I just had a couple questions, and I met with Matt, and there is a big price difference, as you can see. So my main question was, is this going to mean that there's a lot more staff time involved to take care of other things that we're not paying for that we would have paid for with the other viewer? And he assures me that that's not the case, so I'm good with that.
Good.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner Glyden.
out of curiosity, when do you think they're going to get to this one?
They said within a year they would have both completed, so probably be starting doing their boots on the ground viewing here sometime this summer. I want to work with them and obviously notify the landowners where they would be viewing, so they have a heads up and hopefully be having something within the calendar year. So.
All right, I'll approve, we haven't had approval yet, have
One
we?
each, so, I mean, each one separately.
Okay, I'll approve the resolution finding of facts in order regarding the redetermination of benefits, County Ditch 35.
Madam Chair. Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Glyden, seconded by Commissioner Wetter.
Madam Chair, if I could, just to remind the board, you're acting in your capacity as the drainage authority for this ditch. In this matter, you're not acting in your capacity as a county board member. And I would also just like to note for the record that staff has reviewed the watershed, basically the benefit areas on this, and they are way smaller than they should be. So going through this process will make the process more fair, one of expanding the watershed, getting it brought up to proper standards for today, and evaluating the benefits and damages more appropriately.
Yeah, I
On both,
appreciate.
and then that applies to both of these.
Yeah.
So,
And I
Matt.
appreciate that because certainly I know in the one ditch that a lot of construction has happened since 1910 or whenever
Whenever it
ditch
was built.
17 was built.
Madam
Yes,
Chair.
yes, Commissioner Glyden.
And
Or excuse me, Vetch.
this is one of these situations. County Ditch 35 there's a strong chance this is going to be very contentious with whatever the viewers come back on this. So I do want to caution the viewers. I'd rather have this done in a slower and more thorough than to have this done in a horse race and
Right.
have it dragged out like we've had in some of them in terms of trying to determine was it equitable and fair or not. So.
Yeah, and I appreciate that too, and I think this is going to change, certainly the number of benefited landowners, so it's we know that they'll do their due diligence and certainly encourage them to do it right, and I'm sure that's their goal, so, yeah,
Madam
thank
Chair?
you for saying that.
Madam Chair, where does 35 exit at?
It goes.
Nye Park, isn't it?
No, that would be a different one. I'll just have
that's
to pull up the map here.
That's it. 33.
Just spacing on the name of the lake right now.
33.
Yeah, I don't,
Oh, so
I don't
it
know
does
the
go
lake
into a
here
lake then?
either.
Yes.
Yeah, it's just
Or is that the one that goes
Your
into
map
Mink
just
It's
Lake?
out the
says-
Highway 55 in Maple Lake Township. I forget the lake too.
Is that
I
one
can
goes
see it,
in
but I
down
can't
by
remember.
Ramsey Lake, isn't it?
Which lake is it?
Lightfoot Lake.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Lightfoot?
Lightfoot.
Okay.
All right. Any more discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote. I'll start. Aye.
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 Resolution passes. All right.
I'll make a motion to approve the resolutions, finding of facts and orders regarding redetermination of benefits for County Ditch 17
All right.
pursuant to
second.
Minnesota statutes.
Motion made by Commissioner Delight, seconded by Commissioner Wetter. Any discussion on this one? Motion? Hearing none, roll call vote. Commissioner Vetch.
Aye.
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 Aye. Resolution passes.
Man, that was an easy ditch one.
Yeah.
It's easy to send the orders out, but when
Right.
redetermination
Yeah,
happens.
Good point.
You have to, yeah.
All right. So items for consideration. First, we have the Broadband Committee minutes and Commissioner Vetch.
All right, 1 second here. Oh, we got it mixed up here. So the Broadband Committee met on May 9th. We were largely looking to review the grant applications that came in. So the total number of applicants, trying to remember right off the top of my head here, in the minutes. It was 13 applicants, and we awarded, is it?
11.
Two of the applicants did not meet the eligibility requirements. Those applicants were not moved forward for the scoring. There was some missing information that we were unable to. But we likely suspect that those two will come forward at a later round. And the total allocation for all of them was to just over $1.9 million for all grant applications, which was going to service about 1,645 homes with awarding all the 10 grant applications, which was a great feat, we felt, for the first round of grants from a broadband perspective. And it's the 10 applicants are a cross-section of the county all over, which was another success that we felt because we were trying to get it not just focused in one area. There was some discussions over some of the other concerns about timing with some of the projects and making sure that they are committed and done by May 31st of 2024, or actually much sooner than that, because we did not want to run into the situation where we couldn't reallocate those funds forward. Staff is going to work with those ISP providers to make sure that the grants are encumbered or spent in a time fashion that allows it to be reallocated if that case comes forward, if that becomes the case. So we're still having discussions and trying to figure out whether we can do grants in the RDOF areas. Still no answer on that. Elizabeth is still doing her due diligence on that aspect. The Dig Once policy, we are backing off with the County Road 37 project. We're finding out that it would probably not be utilized, and the cost to put the infrastructure in would not warrant such action. So more to come on what we would do from a Dig Once policy. More, we'd like to have a agreement potentially with an ISP provider before we'd even consider that going forward. We feel that there's a strong chance that with having discussions in other locations that just putting it in there without having any desire by any ISP provider to use it, it could potentially sit dormant for an extended period of time. Not to say that there might not be projects within the county where we could do those road projects that could have interconnectivity between county facilities. More to come on that discussion. We're still working on the RFIs. The RFIs should be coming in, and we, at our next broadband meeting, we'll be looking through them. The two RFIs, one was for traditional broadband fiber service in the ground, and the other one was a fixed wireless RFI. And looking to see what the two of those costs and what the benefits would be based on those costs, and be able to bring a recommendation back for that. The first recommendation was to move forward with the grant applications, the 10 applicants, and Buffalo Township would not be added into the grant funding due to the potential road expansion in 2024. Then the other recommendation was to not go forward with the dig once policy until the language in the policy is revised. So with that, Madam Chair, I move forward the minutes and the recommendations from the Broadband Committee.
All right.
I'll second it.
Motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Delyden. Commissioner Delyden.
Just for the publics too, is that this money is reimbursable money. This is money that they have to spend first, and then we will reimburse them with that. So it's not just given out freely to anybody.
And
Madam,
Broadband Committee has been busy. There's been, you've had a lot to discuss, for sure.
Madam Chair, as you can see, there was a lot of discussion in that meeting. So trying to pull out the nuggets without
Right.
reading it verbatim.
Exactly.
But the one piece that I do think is good to share is the value of the money that we're getting with this broadband funds. I believe the number was 70-30 split on average for the project. So really 30% of it is the AARP funds and 70% of it is either local township or ISP providers, but largely ISP provider funds. So getting a lot of homes done at a really, really fast rate.
Yeah,
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Madam Chair, regarding the dig once policy, we found out too that some of the ISPs will not use private pipes. So that has caused an issue, which is why we're looking at revamping it and trying to figure out what's going to be best going forward. And that was also ridiculously priced.
And Madam Chair, one other item that we kind of briefly discussed is trying to ramp up efforts because we felt that this round of grants was really a successful venture, and the Broadband Committee is going to be looking to do another round of grants sometime later on in this year for next year's construction season. So,
And just for everyone, all the minutes and everything are in the packet, so if you want to read, some more of the details, they're there for you. So. All right, if there's no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? All right. The minutes and a recommendation are approved. The County Board Workshop, Commissioner Ketchmark.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, I think we had 8 items on here, and there's six pages worth of minutes.
Right.
We'll do my best here. Started with scheduled meetings as needed. Administrator Kelly, he opted to add a couple items to the agenda, one regarding Wright County Sheriff's Office Training Center, and discussion concerning Senate File 4062 related to the drainage registry, so that'll be included. First, we had the Medical Examiner's Annual Report by Shane Sheets, Director of Midwest Medical Examiner. He shared that our fee charged on the per capita was $2.46. That fee will stay the same this year. Sheets reported that there was 117 cases referred, which was an increase from previous years. Declined jurisdiction on 488 cases, and those were natural cause deaths and death certificates that could be signed by the individual's physician. Other items of interest in the report, there were 54 accidental deaths, 42 natural cause deaths. He pointed out the accidental death breakdown was 15 deaths were due to drug or substance abuse. There were 13 vehicle accident deaths in 2021, which was up 6 from 2020. Commissioner Hewsom asked about the use of the LOX, that's LOX stat scan. And Sheets reported that this was the first in the Midwest to utilize this body scanner. In the end, the recommendation was to accept the 2021 Midwest Medical Examiner Annual Report. Then we went into the permitting and ordinance of gravel pit discussion. There was reference to the gravel pit ordinance and language that dates back to Original ordinance 1967, most of the language in the current version dates back to 1979. There's interest in a moratorium related to gravel pit applications in certain zones in Wright County. There was a recommendation. The consensus was to move forward with having Attorney Kreiser draft the language for publication in the official county newspaper outlining the intent of the county board to consider a gravel pit permitting moratorium at its, should be Tuesday, I believe, June 1 rather than May.
No.
Oh, is that correct?
31st.
Tuesday.
Okay. May 31st board meeting and to conduct a public hearing at that meeting. Next, we had the opioid settlement discussion, and we learned from Wright County Public Health that Wright County's allocation is $3,770,945. They're still working on the process for dispersal of the money, but of that, 75% will go to local communities for opioid education and programs, and 25% will remain with the state. There isn't a firm timetable on when the funds will be coming to Wright County because the settlement allows for payments over an 18-year period. There was a recommendation, consensus, to continue the process of lining up members for a task force to oversee the expending of funds and compile a list of interested names and organizations to present to the county board at a future meeting prior to August 1st. Next, we had fairground roof follow-up discussion. There was discussion about the different buildings and what type of roofs that they wanted to put in at the fairgrounds. Administrator Kelly weighed in, as did Facility Service Director Alan Wilczek. There was storm damage to some roofs last year. MCIT has been involved with claims for damage. Fair Board was also looking for a metal roof on the restroom area. The schoolhouse and the Octagon building will move forward with an asphalt shingle replacement. Proposals have been revised from last year because there's cost increases. The consensus was to have Wilczek continue to work with the Wright County Fair Board and MCIT to resolve the situation and get the damaged roofs repaired. Then we had meeting room guideline discussion. Administrators Kelly and Assistant Administrator Wilfard referenced the current policy that we have in place for the use of meeting rooms. And it states that a group must have a direct affiliation to the county, and there's a desire not to set a precedence by allowing outside organizations with no affiliation to the county to access county facilities for private functions. There was conversation about internal groups that already rent space here and it being available to them. There is not currently a fee schedule for use of the rooms. There are some counties, it was reported, that have a fee schedule for their facilities. I expressed some concern, which could be added to the minutes, about local groups such as Rotary, as was mentioned, when we have local businesses that hold those meetings with potential for profit for food, beverage, or space usage. The recommendation was, if the consensus that the policy as currently written serves the general purposes of meeting room guidelines, Wilfart was directed to work through issues as they arise and update the policy to incorporate language about opening and closing the government center for after-hours meetings. Next was the training center shooting range discussion. Administrator Kelly advised that total cost to resolve the issue at the range is approximately $27,000. BKV, who is involved in engineering or design of the facility, said that they would provide $12,000 to assist in the solution, and the county would pay $15,000. Wilczek said, part of the $27,000 cost includes a system test and balancing of the spiral ducts. There were tours made of other ranges to see what other options were. There was a request, and this could be added to the minutes, that I requested the BKV contact information so that I could hear from them. And there was a recommendation, it was a consensus to authorize the needed repairs, add-ons to the Sheriff's Office Training Center shooting range at a cost of $27,000, with approximately $15,000 of that being paid by the county and $12,000 being paid by BKV. Last item was Senate File 4062, where Administrator Kelly explained that there is a proposed bill creating a registry for information for county ditches, and the work has been done on them over the years. Administrator Kelly felt that the county has kept good ditch records, and being forced to create ditch information registration system would be extremely burdensome and time-consuming. Consultants Flaherty and Hood recommended the county board send a letter to the legislative committee expressing the concerns. Recommendation was, the consensus was to authorize Kelly to send a letter expressing the county concerns to legislators on the committee discussing Senate File 4062, as well as the county's legislative delegation. I'd also like added to the minutes there that MRC discussed this item at length. They are doing a letter opposing this bill, and it appeared that this was basically taking the authority away from the Drainage Authority with delays in the process to report work. I'd like to just go back to the training center discussion because of the extra conversation that I had with BKV since we met last. And I'll just ask Clay, did you have any more correspondence with BKV that was passed on by Administrator Kelly?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, there has been some conversation with BKV just about their ability to attend the board meeting today, which they were not able to attend, but they did express willingness to attend a county board meeting in the future if that's something that the board would like.
Okay, and I'd like to share my conversation with BKV. Bruce, who was a spokesperson for the project and very helpful, and he helped me through the process that got us to where we are, that started when the range was closed. And that was that he did go on tours with county staff, and they looked at Cottage Grove in particular and found that the spiral airflow worked better than what we had installed in our range. And the panel that is proposed above the approximately $25,000 cost, the difference there is the one we have requires it be programmed the night before by some authorized staff to set up for the next day's training, let's say. The one that our staff thought would be better would allow for staff to come in the morning of the training and walk in the door and set it up, turn it on, within a matter of a few minutes, it's working. So it seems more practical, and I relayed this to them, to have the one that's proposed now, because it leaves less to chance that someone's gonna forget or set the wrong date and time. And I asked him if this technology was available when our range was being planned and designed, and he thought it was. The Cottage Grove range has that. So I relayed to him that regardless of the tests that happen in the fall, BKV agreed that the spiral airflow process and the control panel that was in Cottage Grove would work better than the one we had. And I expressed to him that I didn't think that we should, Wright County should be paying any of those differences, because they were hired to design and engineer and bring the best possible plan. There was no correspondence that they brought these options to us and that we declined them. And the one thing that I told them we should pay for is somebody opted for a quicker ship method of these parts. Now that I could see we would pay for, because that was a county choice to do second day air, next day air. But with their position to not oppose these way back last summer, the change in the airflow and the control panel, I told him that I think they should be paying more than they're offering. He said he'd be willing to come to a board meeting. He wasn't invited or asked to this point, and he wasn't available today. So if we're gonna go ahead with the recommendation, I'm gonna be opposed to the figure based on the additional information also that I got from BKV. And if we don't have anything else saying that they're gonna come to a future board meeting for sure, then I guess we're left with voting on that recommendation. But with that, take a motion to approve.
Madam Chair, before you do that,
Okay,
pull that one separate.
Yeah.
That recommendation separate, because Commissioner Ketchmark, I'm kind of in line with you on the fact that we hired them as experts to give us a workable system. And you know what? I appreciate you doing some extra due diligence on that, because at the end of the day, he's trying to save himself a few bucks on work that he didn't, in my mind, in probably yours as well, I'm guessing, didn't deliver a suitable product.
and thank you, and Madam Chair. I'll make a motion then to approve all the items with the recommendations except for item 7.
All right. Motion made
I'll
by
second it.
Commissioner Ketchmark, seconded by Commissioner Delyden, to approve all but number 7 of the recommendations. Any more discussion?
Madam Chair,
Oh.
I would want to make a motion for that last one to set a committee of the whole to invite BKV to come in and discuss and negotiate out the solution for the air system at the training
Right.
facility.
Madam Chair, we do have a motion on the
First, we'll-
table.
we'll-
The motion, oh, you're the
We'll
one,
vote-
oh, that's right, you
we'll
didn't vote on the one first. Okay, I thought we.
Yeah. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, no opposed? All right, Commissioner,
Now I'll make a motion to set a
right.
committee of the whole to discuss the airflow system at the training center, inviting BKV in to discuss it in person.
I'll second.
motion made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Ketchmark. I guess my concern is moving forward with this fairly quickly, because we do want this operational. It's been down for a while, so if we're gonna have this, I think it really should occur
Madam Chair,
fast. Yes.
since we had the parts shipped fast, if the chief deputy could come up, I'm just curious to find out if this equipment has been installed or if we're still holding off. Or if we're waiting for parts yet.
That would be a good question for Alan from Facility Services, but I don't believe we've received all the parts yet, but nothing's been installed.
Okay.
Okay. So everything has been ordered then?
So we, as far as we know.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've,
That's Alan.
Alan?
Alan?
Hey, good morning, Commissioners. Just to kind of comment on some of those items, the controller that's going on the wall proposed is not exactly accurate to what Commissioner Ketchmark had indicated. We can go into the room and shoot currently what the controls we have. It doesn't require pre-programming a system to work the day after. The board or the controller that's being put in is to indicate that there's basically a red or green system data that the systems are operating properly when they ramp up, that a shooter or the instructor could look over and say, yes, we're meeting airflow parameters, and have an indicator right there. Currently, if you wanted to see those parameters, you'd log into the building automation control system and have to look at those data points to make sure that you would be meeting those parameters, which wouldn't be something that the sheriff's office would have access to. That would be the facilities HVAC group would be able to look at that. This is a networked control panel basically that indicates what parameters are being met or not being met to indicate if there's a safe shooting environment with proper airflows. That's why it's an additional piece. The controls we have in place are not changing. The data feed coming from our control system is what's being displayed and changing. The question about the components being ordered or not, being as though the minutes and the recommendations had not been adopted by the board, Those components have not been ordered. The quick ship option is to decrease lead times. I believe, just off the top of my head, it's 1 to 2 week lead time with a quick ship. More lengthy lead times if you do not opt for that. So this has not been ordered because the minutes and the recommendations have not been adopted yet.
Thank you, Alan. Was my understanding too, that this was, more of the monitoring and red light, green light. So that's what I thought we had upgraded that, which was not part of the original design, but
Madam Chair. Alan, so you said they could shoot right now. Does that mean the spiral part of it has been added? So, or nothing's been done to it yet?
No, what I meant by that, I'm sorry for the confusion, Commissioner. What I meant by that is that our system allows a shooter to walk into the range and shoot without having to pre-program. The system is currently down. The spiral and the controls and any of that 27,000 and change proposal has not been moved forward with, like I said, because of the adoption of the recommendations.
Okay, so the spiral part, how much does that cost? Do you know? Do you have a breakdown?
I believe that portion was 17,000 when it was looked at last year, and I think it's around 21,000 now. I'm sorry, I don't have the proposal up here in front of me, but it's around that 21,000-ish mark for the spiral duct and diffuser, including some of the balancing.
Okay. Thank you, Alan.
Madam Chair. I think that's another good reason to have BKV come here and speak instead of me trying to interpret over the phone and make sense to the rest of the board. I've got a summary contract here, but it's confusing. I tried going over it with BKV, but it combines so many things. It's hard. I'm kind of back to last week when Administrator Kelly agreed that BKV agreed to pony up for half of the airflow situation, which would be around 25,000, which would mean their part was about 12 and some change, and our part would be 12 and some change, and above that, the approximately 5,000 would be the control panel and the quick ship. That's kind of the way it was broken down last week. But the estimate here from the Wiedner's mechanical contractor is not real clear, and there was no email or phone number to call somebody at that company to clarify it.
so board, what are your wishes to set the committee of the whole?
Madam Chair, I feel like we haven't, it's been down this long, so you know what, giving it 2 more weeks, the due diligence of it, because more the fact that I can't condone somebody that you hire an expert to do expert work and you pay them for such and they profit as such. If you had your house and you hired somebody to put an air conditioner in your house and your air conditioner doesn't air condition your house, do you, I mean, you certainly don't want to be like, okay, I guess I have to pay somebody else to come and fix it. I mean, that'd be ridiculous. And this is kind of no different.
Madam Chair, one other point. BKV, it's not like they're going to shell out all their profit on this project. I was told from Administrator Kelly that we paid them at least $400,000 for this effort.
All right, so we had a motion, correct, and a second to set this committee of the whole. Can we look at it, a date before we, or vote?
Sure.
Well, the problem is, we can look at a date, but we don't know when they're going to be available.
Right.
I would suggest that administration talk with them to come back with a few different dates. And I'm not sure we necessarily need to do it at a committee of the whole. Maybe we can just do it during the board meeting on the 31st if that date's available. If not, then we'll have to look at an alternative, but I'd rather do it that way.
And, Madam Chair, that was why I say committee of the whole, because we could always, like, it just makes it more flexible, then it can be whenever, otherwise it can be at a county board meeting, but.
Yeah, I think perhaps having it as an item on the county board meeting on the 31st, that would move things forward.
That's right.
We should be able to gather that information, and someone from their firm should be able to be part of that.
But I'll give him the out if he wants to just pay the full $27,000, we don't have to meet, so.
Yeah.
All right,
Madam
Well,
Chair,
not the full amount.
yeah.
we
Or
can
not the
check
full,
then
yeah.
for their
Just a-
availability over the next couple board meetings, and if they are unavailable in the next, let's say, 2 or 3 board meetings, we'll get some alternative dates from them to run past the board for
Yeah.
potential committee of the whole.
And
Sounds good.
hopefully, since our next board meeting isn't for 2 weeks, that they will be able to get somebody here for the 31st, so we don't drag this out too long. So, thank you. All right, no more discussion, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion passes. That recommendation, there's no recommendation. All right, we have the
IT committee.
IT, thank you. I put my papers away now, yeah, Commissioner Vetch.
Madam Chair, there was a lot of pages of minutes here, so I can easily see you getting lost in all these pages. So I think we have a total of like, what, 15 pages of minutes? So the IT committee met on Wednesday, May 11th. Largely, the discussion was around the bring your own device. The policy's kind of been around the county for a number of years, hasn't been really modified, and it's come to the attention that there's some aspects of the bring your own device that are either underutilized or not utilized. Right now, currently the county offers 4 different plans from the Bring Your Own Device. One is the covers the total phone usage, data, text, and talk. Then there's ones that are just the talk plans. Then there's the text only, and then there's the data and text only. And they're all 2 of the plans, the covering the talk and text, and then the just data plans, have only 4 individuals on each of those plans. And truly, those plans should have been modified and put into the covering total phone usage. That was one of the recommendations that was coming out of it. The county is using 3 different providers, Verizon, T-Mobile, and AT&T FirstNet. AT&T FirstNet is for law enforcement. The other 2 providers is mostly just to get us even coverage. There's different coverage on the southern part of the county versus the northern part of the county, and we couldn't use one provider that would actually be able to get us a robust coverage across the county. The large discussion about the bring your own device was the concern about risk in having a number of employees using bring your own device, and the ability for the county, if they are lost, the ability for them to wipe those phones. With the bring your own device, it is a much complicated, and there is a strong belief that we wouldn't be able to do that for a variety of different reasons. There's also the issues with data requests and the being able to get that information off of those phones. There's also the risk of the phones being lost when they're bring your own device, and what that has for litigation risks when you can't wipe them clean from a remote setting. So we understood as a committee that there is this is a paradigm shift, and that a lot of people don't like the cumbersome of carrying 2 phones, but the recommendation was to establish a June 1st date of a grandfather in. So if you have a bring your own device as of June 1st, you can continue on with that as long as your employment is here. But any new employment or anybody after June 1st that is moved into a cellular will get a county issued device, and the bring your own device policy will slowly be diluted out, largely for safety and security reasons and the ability to manage data. The second item that we discussed was the Braddock Fiber Loop, which I'll call it the County Campus Fiber Loop. So talking about, right now, all the buildings are connected on the campus, but it's not a redundant loop. So if there's a cut in it, we would lose communication. So this was part of the capital improvement plan. This was thought out through IT. They just want to move forward with closing that fiber loop and connectivity with the historical center. So we have redundancy if there is any type of severing of that line. So with that, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the minutes and the recommendation from the May 11th IT committee.
All right, motion made by Commissioner Vetch. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Ketchmark. Any questions or all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, motions and recommendations are approved. All right, the next item is to proclaim the week of May 15th through 21st as Emergency Medical Services Week. We do have a proclamation to designate the week of May 15th, May 15th through the 21st, 2022 as Emergency Medical Services Week, whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams in Wright County are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill a gap by providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventive medicine, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public, and other out-of-hospital medical care providers, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams, whether career or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and accomplishments of emergency medical services provider by designating Emergency Medical Services Week now, therefore, the Wright County Board of Commissioners, in recognition of this event, do proclaim this week as Emergency Medical Services Week with the EMS strong theme, EMS Rising to the Challenge. We encourage the community to observe this week with appropriate programs, ceremonies, and activities.
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion to proclaim the week of May 15th through May 21st as Emergency Medical Services Week.
All right.
I'll
Motion
second
made
it.
by Commissioner Batch, seconded by Commissioner Leiden. Is there any comments or questions? Certainly, I guess, most of us recognize how important the services are for, most of us have used it or know people who do, so,
Absolutely. Without them,
yep.
a lot of people never would survive.
That's very true, very true. All right, so this is a resolution. We'll start with Commissioner Wetter.
Aye.
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 All right, resolution or proclamation. Thank you. All right. To do with my next item. Schedule the closed session for Committee of the Whole to discuss labor negotiation strategy. Assistant Administrator.
Yes, Madam Chair. With the union conversations coming up, we're looking to start that process by scheduling a closed session committee of the whole. We've had a couple dates that we've identified, June 8th or June 21st at potentially around 10:30 a.m. I believe the 21st is a board meeting, so right after that board meeting, and the 8th, I believe, is a committee meeting. So mid-morning, that morning is what we had as staff potentially targeted. So just looking for that action from the board today.
June 8th, and what was the other day?
21st.
21st.
Madam
So
Chair.
far apart, I was like,
Madam Chair.
Yes, Commissioner Leiden.
On June 8th, we have the EDA annual meeting at 6 o'clock. So we are going to be here. I don't know what people's schedules are for in the afternoon.
3:30. I've got 3:30 meeting, so that'll be till 4:30.
Okay.
So it might be, you want to allow yourself enough time to have good discussion, but
Oh, yeah.
does it,
What about the morning of the 8th? Does anybody have anything on their calendar for that?
it depends on if a committee is scheduled for that day.
Well, was there,
June 8th, I'm good. I mean, if you want to, we can even do it at early in the morning if you want. If we can go another 8 or 8:30, or do you want to go? No, I'm getting a shake
Are you
head over there.
talking? So you're looking at the 8th. How about the 21st after the board meeting?
Sure. That's good for me.
yeah, everything's scheduled yet.
All right. All right, is there a motion to set that meeting for
So moved.
June 21st at 10:30? Moved by Commissioner Delyden. Is there a
I'll
second?
second.
Second by Commissioner Ketchmark. Any more discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. That meeting is set. All right. Compost facility ventilation. Commissioner Ketchmark, you've been kind of working with this. And
Right, Madam Chair, thank you. In a past meeting, the question was asked, it was brought up in the Stantec preliminary report, if we have a exhaust and ventilation system at the compost facility and if it's working. I since learned that it is not, so we're gonna set up a meeting with Integrated Controls. And the week of May 30th to go over what the OSHA-type regulations are for storing what we're storing out there in the quantities that we're storing, to see what's required if we have what we need or not. And we'll see what that yields, but that's where I'm at with that.
And who all are you meeting with? Ketchmark or?
Administrator Wilfart, I don't know if Matthijs is gonna be there, but who else did we have planned?
Madam Chair and Commissioners, there are a couple staff, I believe Tim Dahl is going to be there as well as our risk manager.
Okay.
And then the representative from Integrated Controls, myself, and I think that's all I'm aware of at this point, but there may be a few others joining.
Okay. So then we will look for the update after your meeting.
Right.
Madam Chair?
Yeah, Commissioner Lyden.
So that place had to have something in there before. So the problem is now it's just not operational?
Correct. It hasn't been ran in probably many years, and facility maintenance weighed in and said, not recommended for the condition that they visually see out there.
Okay.
All right. So that's just an update. Number 4, the use of the vacated government center for training. We had a request, Assistant Administrator Wolfart.
Yes, Madam Chair and Commissioners, we had a request by Anoka County to use our old government center facility to train. It sounds like it's pretty rare for law enforcement agencies to find a facility like that to train in, given that it has a vacated jail as well as a courthouse. So what they're looking to do, as we understand it, is do some robotics training in this facility. And we worked with them and our legal team to put together the attached agreement. Anything they do in there, they're going to have prior written approval of our facilities director, just to make sure that we don't have anything going on in there that could be a liability or potentially cause any damage to the facility. So at a staff level, we think this is a pretty unique way and a neat way that we can use that facility while it sits vacant to help the larger community. And so we're just looking for board's approval to move forward with that.
Madam Chair, and
Ketchmark.
I don't know if everyone had a chance to read the agreement, but I was just asking a few questions, because we don't know what we're doing with the building or the contents. Some of the stuff's maybe gonna be donated or reused, so they're not gonna use gas in there, they're not gonna break glass or other things. So they have to leave it in the condition that they found it in.
Right.
Because sometimes those trainings can get pretty involved.
And I mean, this is, as was mentioned, this is a unique opportunity because it's difficult. I remember training in like old schools and different vacated buildings, but it's not easy to come by those things. So I think this is, a great, as long as the county still owns the facility. I mean, if we can utilize it in this way, it'll be good.
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Lyden.
Chief Deputy, will any of our people be able to watch or be part of this at all?
At this point, we've not reached out to them. They've not reached out to us as far as a collaborative effort, but I do see our agencies asking to utilize the building as well. We've already had some discussions about that. So.
I would think that it'd be beneficial to us to at least have a few observers just to see how they do it. Since we're in the Wright County, I'm sure we're going to do it right, but,
We do. We actually have a lot of the same equipment.
Oh, do you?
Yeah,
Okay.
we know their teams pretty well, so there's some collaboration there in the past.
Good.
All right.
Madam Chair?
Yes.
I could imagine how rare it is to find buildings with, 4 stories, elevators, and jails, like you
Yes.
said, all that into one gambit is
Nooks
probably rare.
and crannies everywhere in that building, right?
Do we need a motion for this
Yeah,
then?
I would say we,
I'll make a motion to approve use of the vacant government center by Anoka County Sheriff's Office.
I'll second.
Motion made by Commissioner Delight, seconded by Commissioner Ketchmark. Any more discussion? Not hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right. Motion passes, so they'll be happy. And your first item, Assistant Administrator Wolfart.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. So the couple added items we had on there, the first of which was the leadership retreat update. We have, it sounds like, a facilitator lined up, and we're targeting June 23rd as the date to do that leadership retreat. It sounds like the time will be roughly from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. So just wanted to make sure that that was on the commissioner's radar and get ahead of it if there are any conflicts with that date. So just looking for confirmation or consensus to move forward in that direction and have that retreat on the 23rd.
Yeah. Thank you. I know it's been some juggling to get some dates out there, so appreciate that.
Madam Chair, again, what were the types?
Tentatively, we're looking at 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. right now.
Okay.
Madam Chair,
Commissioner
I
Witter.
was going to do the MRC meeting for Commissioner Ketchmark, and that started at 1, and I have no idea how long.
Madam Chair, that's May 23rd, not June 23rd.
Oh, May 23rd. I'm sorry, you're right.
Are you okay on June 23rd,
Let's see.
everyone?
If it's during the day, yeah.
Okay.
And that will be this building?
I believe so, yes.
All right.
Thanks, Commissioner Ketchmark, for that.
I'd look for a motion to set that
Madam
retreat
Chair,
day.
I will make a motion to schedule the leadership retreat on June 23rd from 9 to 3.
All right.
I'll
Motion
second.
made by Commissioner Vetch, seconded by Commissioner Wetter. More discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. And your second item.
Thanks, Chair and Commissioner. You're getting a lot in my first meeting up here. Quite a few things.
When you're doing fine.
The last thing that we wanted to bring up to commissioners was the Government Center open house conversation. I know that admin had sent out some conversation to the commissioners about a potential date, and there was a lot of varying feedback among the commissioners of what the expectations were for that open house. So we just wanted to get clarification for the commissioners so we can set something up about maybe which days of the week and times of day and other expectations that commissions would have of, the activities or anything else you would like to see on that day. So just, maybe in general, what days of the week and times commissioners would like to see this, and then maybe a general time frame of, what month or what part of what month you would like to see that open house be scheduled so that we can get something out there and publicized and host something.
Madam Chair?
Commissioner Lyden.
Commissioner Wetter had said that this is the public's house and they should be able to come during the times when they're available.
Yes.
I would prefer to do it like in an evening instead of on a Saturday or something, just because we have people here at that point that they could just stay a little bit later. I would like to see it maybe in September, set it off far enough so there's plenty of time to do it, and we've got plenty of things going on right now. But I'd like to see it maybe in September do it, and that would allow everybody to get everything straightened out and the way they want it, because we're not just going to do it for this center, we're also going to do it for the Justice Center, I'm assuming.
Right. Well, we also talked highway.
In the
board,
highway,
so-
in the, so I'm just thinking, instead of on a Saturday, I'm thinking an evening, starting at 5 and going to 8 p.m. or something.
I guess, I think that's a good idea. September, though, if you have that's when everything kind of gets back rolling, so you've got things going on, sports.
yeah.
I mean, it's like really, honestly, 5 days a week between meetings from the townships and the cities, and Wednesday night, church have their programs, and Thursday is a big meeting night, and Friday is sports, so it might be better to look at August. If we wanna-
agree. August,
You know,
if you do an evening in August, people that you're
Yep.
during the week because they're not going to be still in town, that
Yep.
you're probably best in that.
That's a good point. I
Madam
forget,
Chair.
I don't have kids old enough anymore.
Madam
yes,
Chair,
Mr. Wetter.
I still think the community, our county people paid for the buildings. I still think 3 hours some night is not enough for them to really roam around and see everything they might want to see. Because if you're gonna talk about the other, like highway building and all that, the Justice Center, the jail area, the sheriff's, whatever, that's not enough time to really for them to all look around. I still feel a Saturday would be better. And yeah, I mean, when we have new facilities, it's gonna cost more. We're gonna have to have volunteers that are gonna have to work. We're gonna have to pay them. That's just the way it is when you have something new. We knew that, with the new building and all that, we should kind of make it easier for the people to come.
Madam
And
Chair.
that's why I still say that I think since everybody paid for all this, we should be able to come like on a weekend when everybody might be available and the kids could come and.
Commissioner
Madam Chair,
Lyman?
just clarification, are you, Commissioner Wetter, are you thinking just like one Saturday, or are you thinking like
Yeah.
doing multiple days?
No, just one
Okay.
Saturday sometime.
Madam Chair.
Yeah,
My
Commissioner Lyman.
concern is doing it on a Saturday during the summer. There's a lot of people that are gone.
I know.
And that's why I'm thinking an evening during the week, chances are better that they'll be around unless they're on vacation.
Yeah, well, that's it too. And
So,
Madam-
there's never a good time.
no, there
you
there
know.
won't be. And what we could do is, there's no reason why we can't have a couple of evenings.
Madam Chair, if I may, so for clarification, what we're talking about is just this building's open house, the government center, so it's not all of the other buildings. So for consideration of how long it would take people to look at it, this discussion, we were just looking for direction of this. I believe that the sheriff's office, for instance, is planning their own open
Right.
house as well. And then
Yeah.
one other clarification or one other point maybe I wanted to raise is that it's from, the administration office. I don't know that we have a preference of time of day, but I would just point out that if you hold it on a Saturday or Sunday or in an evening, there won't be many staff here. So those walking through may not see fully everything that's going on. Just wanted to point that out for your consideration.
Yeah, this does get a little complex because we had, way back, or whenever it was, we talked about having sort of a campus-wide open house.
That's what I
And-
thought.
But, I mean, the sheriff's office, they're doing theirs already, so they don't have to be part of this necessarily unless they want to be. And they could be open and have people come in just to see the facility, maybe not tour the jail and things or their
No.
support building, but I'm open. My Saturdays are pretty full, summer it seems like, but
Madam Chair, just from a logistical standpoint, just so we understand, because like this building is the people's building, so it's open,
It is.
5 days a week.
Right.
And even when you do this open house, largely the behind the curtain spaces are not going to be able to be accessible because of privacy data and people's personal information that are at those spots. So I guess from the standpoint of doing one, I can see the value of doing in the evening just because that brings the access to the people that otherwise during the day, you can come and see this building anytime.
Right, exactly.
Because you're not going to get to see anything more or less at that open house than you would just coming here on a Monday at 12 o'clock.
Right.
Just because we don't have the ability to go behind the counters and show people those spaces for.
And a lot of it's just sort of a celebration, So part of the open house is to bring in, maybe have some treats and that kind of thing we had talked about, but, so, yeah, you're right. We're here open 40 some hours every week, and people are in this building a lot. There's a lot of citizens and residents that have come in just to see the place already, so,
So, Madam Chair,
yeah.
let's decide, is it gonna be the full campus minus the sheriff's? Or is it gonna be just the government center? Because that would make it a matter of the time too, as far as I'm concerned.
And I think that,
Excuse me, my
what
voice
we
is
need to probably do before we make this decision is to speak with Highway, to speak with Justice Center, and it would be good to see if they're on board. Because of the being locked down in 2020, people, they can go into the Justice Center just like they can go into the Highway building and whatever, anytime during the week to see it. But if you're going to, take them to like conference rooms and that sort of thing, or have somebody available. So I think this probably would be a good item to get that information and bring this up at the May 31st meeting, if we're in agreement.
Madam Chair, so it sounds like the direction is for administrative staff to reach out to the other buildings, see if they would want to cooperate on sort of a campus-wide approach. And then it's sounding like evenings and weekends tend to be what the board would like to focus on for time. So maybe pick a couple days rather than just a single day where we could offer an open house and potentially some tours. Is that a fairly accurate summary? And then bring this
Yep.
back on May 31st for sort of a final decision?
Sounds good.
Sure.
All right.
Thank you. And I'm done now.
Okay, thank you. All right, and I just have a quick question about, moving forward. I didn't have this on the agenda, but for, after Memorial Day, we've traditionally not had suit jackets for the summer. So generally speaking, it's been, for men, suits, or excuse me,
Ties.
shirts and ties. But is everyone comfortable with that for going through the summer, for losing the suit coat?
Madam Chair, it's at your discretion, so
right.
we follow your lead.
All right, that's what I think I'd like to see, if there's an agreement. All right,
And Madam Chair, can I request that we forego the advisory minutes?
Yes.
Just as there's a number of people here.
There is.
For the committee of the whole, and I'd like to have ourselves have 5 minutes
5-minute
before you.
break. I agree. I kind of have a little stack here, so we don't have the time for that. All right. So if there is no other business that needs to come before the board, we're adjourned at 10:27, and we'll be back in about 5 minutes after we've used facilities.